Oshiomhole, aka the Comrade Governor. Like we told you, we are about to let you into, which is that the Comrade Governor himself is in the studio right now as we speak. Item package today, special program. I'm asking you to stay close to your radio set. Do not touch that dial. Ensure that you have some recharge cards loaded on your phones and make that call. Ask the question you've always wanted to ask this august personality that we have. Azobaz is my name, your anchor of the program. Your Excellency, the Comrade Governor, sir. Very good afternoon to you, sir. It's great to have you in the studio with us. We appreciate your stopping by to interact with us. To the listener, the program is coming to you live, and that comes for you to make the calls. We'll let you in on the telephone numbers. I'd like to say congratulations to you, sir, for your successful second term election. Thank you so much, sir, for once again. We congratulate you. We congratulate the people of Edo State. 2012, an election which brought need for political on a very profound level. That way, people can always appreciate what you have done and play. Now, sir, let's take a quick look at the just concluded gubernatorial. Needless to remind anyone that you won that election. That also becomes like a milestone in the democratic development of our nation. What is your assessment of what transpired in the course of that election? What is your assessment of it?
Well, I think things like this are better left for the people themselves to evaluate, and I think overall the people's will prevailed, but there were challenges which at the end of the day, I think the persons who were not able to vote for no fault of theirs and in spite of their effort, those who were able to vote had their way, and the votes. I think it's also a reflection of the fact that federal government level, the president provided the right kind of leadership, namely bend and uphold the right of the people to vote, have their vote counted. The SSS all did their best to ensure that there was not one single incident, and all the apprehension people had about civil violence and all of that. It shows that when you allow people to really express themselves, elections are supposed to be celebrated the way we celebrate Christmas, and all of that has happened. Then your opening remark, I also want it people of Edo State, because at the end of the day, they are really the winners because they had their way, had their choice, they had counted. Therefore, they deserve to be made a lot of sacrifices, staying long hours on end. I'm two men who came with food warmers and plastic of food and things like that, chairs and evil mats to sit and to wait patiently to vote and to wait for them to count the vote. People have shown that we are truly the heartbeat of the Nigerian nation.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, a friend of mine said to me when the result of the election, said to me, this governor would have won this election even as an independent candidate. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm humbled by a lot of the comments. I was always conscious that I am not just like any other governor. I have been at the national platform as president of the NLC. Used to be one of the very critical voice, had the opportunity to speak truth to power, and take power and even to engage power. And so I knew that from day one, not a few Nigerians were anxious to see what I am now going to do as a governor. But I'm an official from the American Embassy telling me that, look, comrade, you're actually the greatest experiment in town. Not a few are wanting to know how you apply yourself to the challenges of governance. And being conscious of that means that I knew I was accountable not only to your people, but actually to all Nigerians. When you are conscious that you have a name to protect and expectations, justified expectations, you have a duty to demonstrate that some of the position you have taken on issues are doable. That indeed Nigeria can and will work one day for the benefit of its citizens. I think all of that helped one to apply himself in full, and the result is that as you said, I think many people know press and the evidence was ever.
But
just to say, however, that a tree can never make a forest, no matter how big that tree is. As I was the captain, I had commissioners I was able to lean on to translate, my policies and programs. Also had party leaders who recognized that the governor needed a free hand and here to point out what wasn't going right and sometimes to offer suggestions on how the thing we should go about it. So yes, it's nice to think that as an independent you could win. Yes, I will argue, however, that no tree is ever big enough to become. You will always need the hands of others.
Yeah, that leads me to the very next question, which has to do pretty much with the feelings that some people expressed, some sort of misgivings that they expressed about a governor that did very well in his first tenure, likely slowing down in the second and not excelling what he did in the first tenure. So what can you tell Edo people to erase such notions about your governorship of this state?
So at this point, we are no more campaigning. So it is not what I'm going to tell Edo people now that will matters. What matters now is how I apply myself to my job. That more than anything else. As they say, in matters of this nature, action will speak louder than voice. But if you insist that I must voice it, then I ask you to look at my records as President of the Nigeria Labour Congress. At the end of the first term, I did say I wasn't going to seek re-election for the second term. In the end, I had to, because if you look at my record of performance, many will say that I was more militant in my second term in the NLC than I was in the first term. So for me, what I do flows from convictions. I have deep and strong convictions. I do what I believe in, and because I'm driven by my convictions. I didn't work the first term because I wanted to be re-elected. There are governors who have been re-elected not because they worked the first term. It's all about conviction. And if anything, I am now even more determined when you see the fact that and the trust of people across the 3 senatorial districts, across the 18 local government areas, you find that you are the one preferred. Leaders lost their villages. Villagers voted against their leaders in my favor. I mean, the only way to pay back is to do everything that I have to do to justify the sacrifices, unanimity, that the vote represent. And all of those old women who killed all those blind people asked to be guided that they want to vote for the comrade. God knows in my heart I'm determined that I do everything to justify. So if anything, I know that God will give me the enablement and even a cleaner heart to ensure that the resources of Edo State are creatively managed, such that everyone across the 192 wards in the 18 local government areas around the 3 senatorial districts, that is, glad I vote for the comrade, and I can see how this government has affected my life of my children. No need to worry about in the next. I'm already back to work, by the way, and encouraging congratulatory visits, and so that we have time to do what we have to do. So I'm ready, and we'll do our best. We'll do even more.
In a way, you answered the question I was going to ask next, which is, how have you been able to manage the resources of it and ensure that you're able to really put in place these projects that we all see? I drove my mom out one day. We got to 5 Junction, and we're just in awe at the magnitude of construction that is going on in that place. Suddenly, where are we getting all these resources from?
Yes, sir. I've always argued that there's no nation that has all the resources it needs. Now, what distinguishes failed state, prosperous ones, is the quality of leadership and the will of the leader to manage judiciously. The life of a nation, of a state, is not entirely different from that of a small family. You have a father who takes his salary and immediately settle at the nearest beer parlor to buy drinks, not only for himself but for everybody around. and he goes home to tell the wife, I have not been paid. Obviously, the size of his pay packet will not reflect in the quality of life of his family member. But if you recognize that head of a family and when are looking up to you, your extended family expect you to smile at them, you manage judiciously. I know very who are poorly paid, who see money to save and send something to their parents. I also know of people who are very well paid, and it's about conviction. And those State doesn't have all the money we need to do all of the things we want to do. But we have enough to be able to manage creatively and to order our priorities carefully in a way that we identify the critical areas of infrastructure that require intervention. And by properly, pricing our contracts, carefully selecting contractors, we're able to make statements. The other thing that you notice the quality of job we are doing, like the schools we are building. Again, it's about conviction. I believe that public schools should be so attractive that the child of the poor should look forward to going to school, and that the worst form of injustice is to create a divided society where a child, on account of the economic circumstances of his parents, is able to attend such a beautiful school that gives him confidence and all the comfort they need, and yet another child in the same neighborhood, exactly for the opposite reason, found himself in a classroom without roof and sitting on bare floor with teachers without desk. Now, I said to my people that we have to build schools so that the child can go to public school and feel as privileged child who is attending a private. Then he said, no, you're not going to have resources to do that. I said, no. When you do proper costing, the worst form of poverty is poverty of ideas. If you cannot think it through, you can't do it. But if you can think through it, you can do it. Japanese will say, good thinking, good product. They would build so many schools that even myself, as I was going around, I was amazed at how much we have achieved in a small piece of time. But it all shows the power of ideas, because I told my colleagues in council that, look, when you standardize your specifications, it also eliminates corruption. Since the specifications are the same, whenever you are building the school, the price should be the same. There could be little differences in terms of transportation, but that will be plus minus 3%. All the other cost elements will be the same. And so that allows for accountability, more transparency, and of course, when you get value for money, you deliver so more with minimal resources. But also, I did make this point, what has been stolen by a few will not be available for the majority. If we recognize that public funds, trustees, seize the temptation not to mistake our personal comfort, public comfort, so much is available. Just that no nation has enough to meet the greed of an irresponsible leadership. Leadership is responsible. Nigeria has enough to basic needs of our citizens.
In case you just tuned in, you're round to a very special edition of we have in the studio with us today, as you must have noticed, the Executive Governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Aliyu. He's been talking to us about a range of issues. We are very, very conscious of the fact that the listener also has a right to ask a question or two. So we've made a provision for that. We have 2 telephone lines open for you to call right here and now and ask a question or two of your own. This governor is here. He is going to answer the questions you're going to ask, but ensure that the questions they remain within the context of what the governor is willing to talk about. Please avoid frivolities. Let's go straight to issues. When you do call, ensure that you keep your questions short and simple. You can call us on 052 849 052 rather 052 894 633. That's 052 894 633. Or you can call the GSM line 0816 026. Looks like we have a caller on the line already. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Let's see if we can take this call on this other line. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Good
Thank you very much.
Local government are standing under the development in people and already that is supposed to take this responsibility. I don't know why they are not. There's a concerning wrong party. These two are supposed to provide in Ring Road, in Raman Park, and in building designated areas. So I will want to know, sir. Before you have to wait, that most of the old women, what are those states went to vote for you? How are these people going to be visited? So the issue of bursary.
Please keep it short and simple. You've asked too many questions already.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Yes, sir.
We talked about street trading, sir. The needs of street trading.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I appreciate his comments. What I've noticed, if you watch the news, I gave marching orders to the Ministry of Environment to clean up the city, stop street trading, ensuring that all the drains are cleaned up, the silt that's evacuated and remain clean, and get the sweepers back to be cleaning the streets on a daily basis. That I've already done. It's unacceptable for people to trade walkway or even expose vegetables, tomato that we eat, vehicle fumes, etc., dust and all sort of impurities. So I've already given directive on that, and I'm sure as we speak, if you go around the city, I'm sure people are already working on those. For Paki too, we have expanded the road in order to ensure free flow of traffic. So need to spend an hour for a journey that require no more than 10 minutes. So people can use their time to walk and earn a living rather than very huge man hours on traffic. And so we have to clean up and ensure that people park properly if they must be allowed to park in places that are approved for that purpose. And of course, maybe I should also say that in the near future we are looking at how to introduce parking fees. So if we take taxpayers' money to build a 6-lane road, 3 lanes on each side of the road, and we have to dedicate 1 lane for parking, obviously those who enjoy the parking facilities, that we can find the resources to build more roads, sustain our renewal program. That is the way it is everywhere. When you realize that you have to pay for parking, then you only park, and make sure that you don't stay much more than you need to, knowing that the longer you stay, the more money you have to pay. All of that are part of the revenue drive we're coming up with to sustain our urban renewal program.
Now, the telephone lines that you can use to call in on this program right away, 052-894-633. That's 052-894-633. You can also call the GSM number 0816-026-2185 if you have a question or two that you want to ask the Comrade Governor, who happens to be our special guest on the program mandate today. Looks like we have a caller here. Hello? Hello? Hey, please, when you do call, ensure that you turn down the volume. Hello, good afternoon.
We are enjoying the government. We want to congratulate the government.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Phyllis, calling from Sapele Delta State.
Sapele Delta State.
Yeah.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question for the Comrade Governor?
Yes, just I want to congratulate the Comrade Governor.
Thank you very much.
Because what he's doing is a testimony for Nigeria to see, because he's our president in this nation.
Please turn down the volume on your radio. The whole back here is deafening. Please.
We want to say that what the Comrade Government is doing is a great testimony for Nigeria to see. Because we want to see that it's our great president in the future. Because nothing will stop it. And we just want to pray that God Almighty should see it through. Because he's doing well in Edo State, and we want to say that he should concentrate on the good work that he's doing in Benin City. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, my comrade. By the grace of God, we'll continue to do our best for our state and for our country.
Here comes another
caller. For the
Hello,
prayers and support.
Okay, the telephone number again is 0816-026-62185. 0816-026-2185. You can call us on that number right away. But once you hear the caller tune, you turn down the volume on your radio just so you can talk with the Comrade Governor over the phone. Now let's talk about power generation, sir. Are you thinking in that direction in the second term?
Yes, no. The state government will not be directly involved in power generation. But the good news is that we have 12 private sector operators already enter into MOU with the Edo State government and the Federal Ministry of Power, setting up independent power plants. They have to just provide the environment.
There's a call coming through. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello, you're on. Good afternoon. Line is experiencing 0816-026-2185 is the number to call right now to have your chance to ask a question or two. The Comrade Governor is right here in the studio. Answer to the questions you're going to ask. Keep it short and simple. That is the way it ought to be. Here comes another caller. Hello? Hello? What's this call? Let us look at other areas like your first tenure. You did quite a lot in terms of trying to put in place a mechanism that will guarantee a steady flow of talent. So what is the focus in your looking at maybe consolidating what you've started? Or do you have some other creative ideas you want to bring to the fore? Well,
I think basically to consolidate, like you rightly said, I think for too long Nigeria had depended on chance is to make it. We have not really systematic level of investment or development. For example, Oshiomhole is doing a fantastic job trying to reinvent the Principal's Cup. He already young ones or program manner to practice and train around the 18 local government areas. All we need to do, I believe, build on that, consolidate it, expand it to other areas. Earlier this morning, I saw a young man who is with this Ministry of Sports, and he told, we are sure that this year Edo must position. So we do whatever we have to do, although this business is cheap, but it doesn't have to be cheap for us to be able to do something. So yes, we consolidate those things that we have already started
still on sports, Still on sports, sir. Dynamo's Force FC performed well for Edo State up recently. Do you have?
Yes, why not? I guess this coincided with the peak of our election.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
This is David from
Okay, what's your question?
They want to ask Comrade Governor.
Thank you very much.
And the aspect of employment for the youth. And I want the government to do something about it. And secondly, local government elections. And I want to rather conduct it this year. That's what I want to find out from me.
Thank you very much. Well, on the issue of job creation, we are the essence of our investment in infrastructure to be able to attract investors to Edo State. More and more businesses are coming up on stream in Edo State. They will employ jobs. In addition to some of the packages we have under the Youth Employment Scheme, some arrangement we have with the Industrial Development Bank to support small-scale businesses and even providing credit to some farmers and to encourage you to take to farming. So yes, employment is one major area that we focus on. We believe we can create of agriculture. We are good at that seriously across the 3 senatorial districts. Of tens of thousands of young people, and even the not so young, busy on our farms, making money for themselves and effort at food security. Local government election, yes, I believe before the end of the year, local government election. Now we are done with the governorship election. We will have to clean up the voter register because there were ugly incidents during the past National Assembly election, presidential election. They just found that their name were not on the register this time around. We go to liaise with INEC to sort out all of those things so that we can conduct a truly credible. Under the law, you need to give the people at least 3 months notice. We'll ensure that the appropriate notice is served and will encourage the electoral body, because this is not something that will be done by the government. It will be done by the state independent election, EDSEC. We'll ensure that the election is done before the end of the year.
Okay, looks like we have another call coming through. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Great to have you with us. What's your name and where you calling from?
Anyagwe Jaja from Mesa Southeast.
Good. You have a question for the Comrade Governor.
Yeah, my question is very simple. First of all, I want to congratulate you for a landslide victory during the Edo Kupa election.
Thank you very much.
My question is about the gratuity to primary school teachers who retired right from 2009 to 11 or 10 years back. We know he's a wonderful governor. He has did it before. I only pray and want to know when he will honor this set of people, because some of them are dying and hungry every day, no money to feed the family. Thank you, Mr. Governor.
Thank you very much, my comrade. I do appreciate this problem. As you know, previous governments dismissed thousands of workers in 2000, and those people were not paid gratuity, they were not paid pension, and inherited all those liabilities, 2000 all the way to the present. And we've already started paying. I remember that late 2011 or early 2011, we were able to raise about 500 million, pay the primary school teachers. You know, they are not directly employees of the state government. They are actually employed by the Local Government Service Commission. But it's something that is of concern to me. I know the value of pension. People serve their nation all their life, are entitled to be looked after at old age, and pension is a right, it's not a privilege. Obviously, I'm going to focus on these. Already discussing with the Local Government Service Commission to see how we can raise more funds, raise some bulk of money so that we can entitled to their reward here on earth. I don't believe that we should allow them to die and then share crocodile tears. So be rest assured, comrade, that we will give that all these, you know, do whatever we have to do to get the teachers to get their benefits.
Looks like we have another caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello, please, we need you to speak up. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm almost there, calling from Ekema.
All right, nice to have you on the show.
I want to first of all congratulate the Comrade Governor of the elections.
Thank you very much.
Draw that attention to the road that used to lead from AO to Pukpenu down to Auchi. That road has been abandoned for a very long time now.
Very well.
Hello?
I heard you. I mean, I'm sure you want us to do something about that road.
Yes.
We will. These were some of the issues we raised during the campaign. You know, there are a number of rural roads that we need to rebuild as part of our comprehensive strategy to integrate the rural economy with the urban economy and ensure that rural people have access to market. So for us to be able to deliver needs, people must be accessible. So there are quite a number of strategic roads connecting different rural communities and connecting different local government areas. Those will receive attention. But remember, we can't do all the job at the same time. It will be one after the other.
How disposed are you, sir, to talk about Edo Line? What's the way forward for Edo Line?
I think the way forward for Edo Line is we have to get the line and ECTS, ECT transport, find a way to harmonize and get them to. I don't think the state government need to have two separate transport companies. Doesn't make much sense. You carry excessive overhead and it's meant to be a social service. It's a pity, you know, the place had been run down before I assumed office. And when you look at all the problems confronting Edo State, you just have to ask yourself the question, for every naira that I get the taxpayers to pay, what is the best way to spend it? Should I put it on a transport company, doubtful value? You know, for me, those are the issues. You could see that we recapitalize the ECTS, because I believe that to service the socio-economic life of the city, of the state, people should be able to move from one location to the other at a fare that is affordable and vehicle that is safe and reasonably comfortable. I believe we've made a bold statement with the Comrade boss. Now, I'm not so sure that we need, as a government, really, to be running near Abuja, Benin, Port Harcourt, Benin, Lagos. I think private people are better able to do those things. But I recognize one concern, namely the employees of online. Now, we working to see how we can have them reintegrated with, Edo City Transport and harmonize the two to become one company. See, government is like a business. You don't want to create avoidable overhead. Every naira that we earn, is competing for attention from the Ministry of Health. Our hospitals could be better. We want to invest on road. We want to invest on rural electricity. We want to guarantee not just free education, but quality education. We need to employ more teachers. So every classroom, when you look at all of that, you ask yourself the question, should I really, for sentimental reasons, take this money and put it to Edo Line? In return for what? So we have to manage more judiciously. If we are going to be able to make impact and sustain the progress that we made, we must even improve on, what you call value for money. And first question is, what value are we getting if we put this naira here rather than if we put it there? That is the whole question of priority. Yes, but I have obligation to address the legitimate social issues involved in Edo Line, and I assure you that we'll find solution to that.
Looks like we have another caller coming through. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, let's know you. Hello, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Osagi Bright, calling from Adolo College.
All right, let's hear you ask your question.
I want to congratulate the able governor for a match as the winner of the election. And I actually want to table the issue of corpus salary. So the governor should look into the situation and if you can.
What about their situation really?
What is the problem with the
corpus to look at?
Hello?
What is the problem with the corpus?
Yes, the corpus, I can see some of them are living hand to mouth, as I can see those in my school.
Okay, I get your point.
So I would like if the governor should help in terms of paying them, because the school is not paying them anything. If the governor
the school has to pay them something. I feel something.
Do something for them.
Oh, very well. Thanks for raising this question, and also thank you for. I have directed the Ministry of Education. Any copper posted to government school is entitled to receive allowance, in addition to whatever stipend is paid by the FRC authorities. Is entitled to that because new city where you have no relative, even if you do, everybody is trying to survive, so we do not expect you as adult to continue to live off your parents and all that. So my policy is coppers posted to government schools must be paid by the state government or the local government, as the case may be. They are posted to primary school, the local government must pay them some allowance. If we put them to secondary school, the state government will have to. I will check it out with the ministry, with the commission.
But what can the government do really to ensure that some of these private schools will also get the benefit of having youth corps members posted to their schools? What can the government do to ensure that they play their own part by also paying these youth corps members?
No, they are supposed to pay them. The policy is clear. When a copper is posted to your organization, you are supposed to offer accommodation and transportation. Because whatever is getting from the federal government is meant to these basic needs, feeding, toiletries, etc. You can't put a young graduate on minimum wage and expect him to be able to hire a house for 1 year, to furnish the house for 1 year. There are a lot of challenges arising from the very fact that he's there on a temporary basis. So every employer of labor, not just schools, every employer of labor who benefits from the posting of coppers ought to and will be encouraged to pay, including the government.
Time is pretty much taking us to the coast now. Okay, we can stretch this a bit further. Now, let us look at the area of security. The issue of state police of recent has assumed the front burner in national discourse. What's your take on this?
Well, I'm afraid on this, I have a minority view. I know that most governors believe, worried about it because of the nature of our political environment. Yes, there are problems of diseconomies of scale with regards to a centralized police force. But I think that with extremes, we can have a new approach to the management. State government should have greater say in the discipline and the promotion or the reward system of policemen that are state. They should also have a greater say in terms of discipline. As a governor of Edo State, whatever the commissioner does or fail to, don't have power of over him, and posted at will and redeployed at will, without even the courtesy of consultation. That has been the case over the period. So I understood the frustration, but I also do not think that a nation make progress. What time we had district police, people were not satisfied. District police, and then we return to centralized police. Many years down the road, we want to return back to state police. Exactly the kind of argument that informed the creation of states. We created more states, created more overhead, and some people are now saying, oh, some of the states are not viable. Let's return to the region. So I don't think a country makes progress by simply moving one step forward, two steps backward. I think we can discuss issues of management, how to make the police more effective. The federal government can be asked to, reduce the amount of money it takes from the federation account. If states have more resources, then we cannot be challenged to equip the police in our state. My worry is we still have, unfortunately, a number of people in the political elite, state police, under their command. God help the opposition. I believe that Nigeria need to sustain a multi-party democracy where the people can choose and remove whoever they want. And to have a state police, for example, in the hands of a governor who has not performed and who wants to continue to impose himself, he will use this police like the political party employee talks. And I'm worried about that. I'm worried about a government, targeting his opponent and, prosecuting them or harassing them needlessly. This is not to say that the federal government is not also sometimes misusing the police, or the size is such that they are not able to do it with the same level of ruthlessness as will be the case if it's in the hands of state governments. We need a level of civilization and a recognition that power that we wield is present, and we should respect the right of citizens. Unfortunately, I know as a governor that we're not yet there. Far too many people in power are too desperate and so intolerant of opposition that I worry that yes, I don't, we could improve efficiency, but I'm also worried about possible abuses. So I'm not one of those who want state police, no. Yes, I'm a governor today, tomorrow I will not be governor. If a primitive guy takes over government and sees me as an enemy and decide to deal with me, what is my fallback position? So one has to look at, do cost-benefit analysis and look at the peculiarities of our environment, particularly the character and the temptation to misuse power. Those are my concerns.
In other words, you would rather subscribe to state governments assisting the police commands in their various states.
Yes,
all right,
I think that with more resources, we can support the police. To be honest, the federal government underfund the police. How can you explain Edo State? If you ask me how many times the federal government had sent vehicles to the Edo Police Command, badly, no. All the vehicles they are using today are procured by the state government. This is exclusively a federal responsibility. And those are gaps here and there. There's also the whole question of discipline within the police. So I asked a commissioner, look, somebody has committed a crime, why are you not arresting? Or you arrest an armed robber and without justifiable reason you grant him bail and the man is let loose on society. Those issues are there. But you see, it's like if you talk about state civil service vis-a-vis federal civil service, it's arguable whether the state civil service is more efficient than the federal civil service. There are issues. For me, they must move on to deal with issues of competence in public office. And ownership structure is not necessarily, we don't necessarily guarantee that you will manage the police much better. If we cannot manage our civil service, if we are not able to do the right level of investment, we're not even able to pay teacher salaries. Some states are not even able to pay civil servants. You have police force that is not paid. that would be a huge risk to put arms in the hands of people who are starving. So I think we need more creative solution rather than just quick fix. Okay, federal police is not working, return to state police. I don't think it's about changing from NEPA to generator. I guess the issues are more complicated than that.
Looks like we have another caller coming through. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Nice to have you on the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sidike for the Andoka. I'm calling from Ubo.
From Ubo.
Yes.
All right, sir.
Yeah, I went to market yesterday and I saw the way boys are driving these traders. I was happy. I had discussed with some of the members there. They said they have acquired the land at Full community. But they want the state government to please help them to go down so that they can retrieve that land, so that they can make a big space for themselves. Because they don't even like the way things are going over.
Did you say Use or Usen community? Where? Ute. Okay, Ute. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The state governor before to help them like retrieve that land. But due to the election and all, I think the governor promised them that he will help them this time. So please, I want to use this opportunity to thank our current governor. And I will tell him congratulations because that is what I'm supposed to do first because the line has been so busy.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
I want to thank for one thing. We have bad road leading to our area at the community. We can simply help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my comrade. I appreciate. I'm happy you noticed that I mean already back to work because somebody is concerned about street trading.
That's right.
And you just confirmed that people are already dealing with that. I do appreciate that we need to build new markets. Recently, we have signed an MOU with a company that is going to build a modern market at Ute. There is a limited time within which they are supposed to build the market. Now, if they do not, then of course the state government will proceed to do what we have to do. Ideally, under the constitution, markets are actually supposed to be built by local governments. But unfortunately, local governments also have their own constraint here and there. But we are looking at all this. The real challenge in Benin City is that we need more markets. We need more markets. We also need modern markets. A lot of our markets are too dirty. Already, we've come up with design. We're going to rebuild Silu Market, going around of Siloko Road.
Okay, that's Welu.
No. Siloko.
Olea Market.
Olea Market. Yes. Of course, we're already working on Agbado Market. And they also want to build a market around Lucky Way. So that these people who are trading around the Ramat Park can have a proper place to trade and not by the roadside. Generally, we are going to discourage the idea of people trading by the roadside. It's not hygienic, it's not safe, and of course, it can also compromise our investment in urban renewal.
Now, speaking of markets, sir, something just occurred to me that I think I should remind you of. These markets, really, when it comes to the point where they are located, persons throw their weights around and they get some stores, quite a number of stores allocated to them to the detriment of the trader who is actually going to use the market. What can you do, sir, to ensure that you stamp out this syndrome?
Clearly, I mean, all of those you talked about, said these are symptoms of a government that is not properly elected. We hold you to ransom. But you're popularly elected on the basis of one man, one vote. You will give one woman two shops when she need only one, or allocate 10 shops to one person who it does sublet them to others. Because in this business, one man, one vote means you deliver socio-economic justice to everyone. That problem has been there, but not under my government, no. Challenge we have now is to build more markets. When we do build markets, it will be properly allocated directly to the actual traders. And incidentally, the market women are very well organized. They know who is a trader and who is not. And working with the market women, you know, they're well organized and be interacting with them. I'm sure we can ensure that only actual traders get to be allocated space, not to a third party who will then sublet to the actual market.
Like you said, sir, you are already back to work.
Yes.
You've hit the ground running again. Now, this second tenure, should we look forward to maybe a reshuffle of your team, expecting changes in the near future?
Well, normally at the end of November 12th, we would have ended the first term. And it's customary that you dissolve the cabinet everywhere in the world. That is the way it is. And then you work with the system. Now I know more and more people. I also work with the cabinet. I know those who I believe we can carry along and those who might wish to excuse. Yes, I think it's normal to expect cabinet dissolution. But people are entitled to be reappointed. If the governor thinks it is in the public interest, the governor can be re-elected. It follows the reappointed. It's all about who is ready to continue that value in service delivery.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You have been listening to a special edition of the program, Mandate. It came to you live right here on Radio Nigeria, Bronze FM 101.5, beneath the Royal Touch. Your Excellency, your last word on this program to the listener.
Well, again, my appreciation to the good people of Edo State, humbled by in which they renewed confidence in my stewardship. I am appreciative of the fact that many made so much sacrifices, including the aged, just so that they express their praise for my person. And for me, it's the greatest honor to service that trust, in the trust of the people. All my life, I've always applied myself needs of society. That is all I've done for a living. State, as they say, to whom much is given, much is expected. Go to vote across the 18 local government area, regardless of ethnicity, religion, whatever, primordial sentiments. I mean, I have a duty to justify support, and I'm ready to begin to deliver. A special grace of God, we will justify the confidence. Into the Edo people, they are the greatest.
Thank you very much, sir. Bronze FM 101.5.
Hello, sir. So, Baba, can I for all he didn't give me tea, no coffee.
Waiting for you, sir.
I know we factory worker, we are used to hot weather. Now you put me inside the chilling. So, where my fees?
Yes, it's at the GS office.
GS office?
Yes, sir.
Well done, sir. I don't need a score for that one. Thanks a lot, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you,
well done,
sir.
I want to put in the young lady. Ogbo? Obukla? You can drive home now. You know that?
Yes, sir.
When last were you home?
Not this year. Not this year at all.
Not this year?
Last year.
When last year?
I'll pass through the new road if that's what you want to know now.
Go and carry her to our village. Okay. 10 minutes from out you are in your village.
Well done, sir. Wow.